New year, new dancing.
Oh yeah. Well, well, well.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome back, Voidwalkers.
Yes, welcome. I
Oh,
cannot believe we're doing this.
I know season 2. You should have said it at. You should have just kept going. We would have had it synchronized at the same time.
But
It's
we're
a
just
problem.
proving that no matter how much we try, we will always be our own saboteurs to
That's right.
synchronization.
That's right. Anyway, I'm Dave,
I'm Liz.
And I'm me.
and we are the Confabulators. Welcome. Oh,
Welcome everybody. Oh my gosh. I'm still in shock that we're here, honestly.
I'm
Like
I'm pleased as punch.
me too. I just like part of me like keeps thinking on like, oh my gosh, like where this started and then like what we were doing last year and now here we are and we've actually did it. We did an entire season.
And now we're
I know,
doing a second
it's
season.
exciting.
I
I know,
know.
it's exciting.
Among the Stars.
I know, it's
Ooh.
exciting.
Oh. So I do have to ask though, like post season 1, because we did actually manage to map this all out and get this done such that we all got a break.
Yeah.
Which is like, on top of this, that we managed to pull this off with timing such that we could all have time to ourselves to decompress. How was everybody's break between seasons? Watch anything new? Play anything new? Watch anything new?
Yeah.
I finally
Go ahead.
started the Expanse Telltale game. Speaking of being on a sci-fi season.
Nice.
Very fitting. Very
Yep.
fitting.
I myself have been just plowing through books. I've been busy moving. As you all can see, those of you who are used to the old background and such, I'm in a new location. I'm moving in with my fiance. Things are more permanent now, so that's exciting. This is the office, or the beginnings of the office. It's going to change as time goes, so that's exciting. Um, I've been spending a lot of my time in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. I'm at the latter half of book 7, and I've already pre-ordered book 8. Uh, so I can't wait till that one comes out. I'm very curious how things are gonna go. Uh, Other than that, I've been thinking about other materials I can read. I know that for this season, there's a few things that I have in mind to read. Certainly stuff that I need to read, since I suggested some stuff like Dune. I need to
Good
read the
luck.
book. Well, I've seen the movie, the Timothée Chalamet movie, the first part. I need to see the second part.
Mhm.
But
I need to see the second
and
part too.
I
I've seen
I haven't seen part 2 yet.
I've seen the Sir Patrick Stewart film, which is goddamn
Hug.
boring.
The Kyle
Um,
MacLachlan
I
film.
enjoyed it.
Yeah,
It's boring,
it's hard.
but I will say I why I have like a little soft spot for the actors in it and the way they play their roles because there's
Yeah.
something kind of special about the insanity in it. But it's
Yeah.
such boring.
And we'll get
Is this
to it.
is this where I get to pitch my insane head canon that all of Twin Peaks is the dream that crap, what is his name Paul Atreides is
Paul
having
Atreides?
Paul Atreides.
during Lynch's version?
I
Only
mean,
The
if you
sleeper
maybe
has
it's-
awakened.
Eraserhead.
and I mean it is MacLachlan, so it works.
Only if you include
by
Eraserhead in
that-
that dream.
By that canon though, would that then mean that also he was dreaming Fallout?
No, because that's not done by David Lynch.
Oh, I was just thinking because it's another Kyle MacLachlan.
Nah, we're not going all Saint Elsewhere on this. This is just the Lynch world.
It's just the David Lynch.
and based on the potentially apocryphal thing that he is reported as saying at one point that all of his films are connected somehow.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I could dig.
But yeah, so there's that, and then spending time with the future in-laws, that side of the family, which has been great.
I love
And
it.
you know, growing up, I guess, for lack of a better term.
New adulthood achievements.
Yeah, hopefully another one this year. I've applied to some full-time positions.
Nice.
So fingers crossed
Yay.
that works out. But yeah, other than that, just been enjoying like the occasional like show, movie, book. Yeah.
You name it. Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. I mean, my breaks kind of been all over. I'm still waiting for my car to get out of the shop. Um, literally like from like mid-December because I wasn't in my car, but somebody sideswiped my car while it
Oh,
was parked
fun.
because
I
welcome to
remember you
street
sending us
parking
photos of that.
and yeah, yeah, it's still in the shop.
Eh,
Because this is what happens when your car gets damaged literally 2 days before Christmas is you can get the tow companies to come bring it over. They were wonderful. It's just the problem is everybody's got time off already scheduled and the mechanics aren't necessarily open for certain days because of holidays. I mean, what you gonna do? It's no
And
great,
hey,
but yeah,
hey,
but
Oh
you
God,
know,
that reminds me.
it's gonna be a little
I
bit
got car
longer.
inspection next
MLK
week.
MLK Day is tomorrow.
Yes, it is.
Spoiler
true.
alert for those who don't know when we record.
Yes,
MLK Day is
Yes.
tomorrow.
you'll be
But good
hearing
thing
this in
is they
like 5
actually do
weeks
their
from now.
updates. Yeah. But they actually do their updates to me on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I don't know how much of an impact that will have. Last I heard they were waiting on like a tire delivery, but this is like the final step. So I
Good.
hopefully will have my car back before I have to call in and find out my status on jury duty because
Oh, fun.
great.
Joy.
The
Yeah. No, but no,
final
my
tear down.
But so my break was pretty good. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a, hanging out, a lot of spent some time with friends, hanging out, talking with people. It's really funny when the subject of the podcast comes up or somebody will be like, "Oh, you do this thing," and then I'll end up like down a rabbit hole with somebody talking about like horror movies. We were at I was at a friend's place and oh my gosh, I forget what the rabbit hole of the conversation was, but it was a deep dive on like horror movies. It was literally like another like one of our conversations just going full crazy into it. I'm like, I love this. I love it. Otherwise, watching things, watch the Stranger Things finale, with some gal friends. My big thing is that I completely dismantled DivaBot, my desktop computer, for the last 8 years ish, I don't know, and rebuilt a new computer or built a new computer, Diva 2.0, which is where I come to you from, with Diva 2.0. My entirely own build. She can keep up with technology now. Um,
Yay!
so I don't have crazy, screwy, um, dropped frames and all of that. So, but otherwise, it was, I've been doing a little bit of audiobook listening. I rechecked out, it's been so long that I kind of had forgotten how it began. So I've gone back to listening to the Dresden Files. I'm still working on the first book. Um, it is fun. It's a full cast recording of the first book, which I didn't realize when I checked out the audiobook for it, but it is fun hearing a full cast recording. Also, I'd forgotten how very like PI noir Dresden Files are because he is technically like a wizard private investigator. So it's been really cool jumping back into that. In the meantime, I've been trying to listen to um Chasm City, the Alistair Reynolds book, but now my checkout time keeps running out. It has to go back on hold. So I'm getting like from the climax and like getting it in these tiny chunks. And then it gets returned to the library because I just haven't had as much opportunity to listen.
Yeah.
So it's sort of this hilarious thing where I'm getting like pieces of it now. And so I have to keep remembering, I'm like, okay, where did we leave off every time it comes back? So, but yeah, otherwise it's pretty chill in its own right, a little unhinged in others,
Yeah.
you know, but fun, but fun. I did just watch The Running Man, but I haven't watched a lot of new stuff or read a lot of new stuff. It's mostly this break I actually went back and was rewatching. I finally actually caved and rewatched some animes that I hadn't watched in years. Um, which has been interesting coming at them through a lens of about 10 years later. Um, for some of them, some
10
even
years
longer.
after.
Just to digest, like, there've been a few where I'm like, oh, I liked this. Like, I've noticed it's definitely my
Was that
critical
one
eye
Gios?
responds differently.
Go-
Gios,
What?
a few Gios had some reactions. It's with all of them. It's interesting
Oh.
coming back 10 years later to see what I'm critical of now versus what I'm not critical of, and what
Mhm.
resonates with me, what still resonates with me, and what now stands out to me. So it's been an interesting journey in that. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm back into like watching tons of anime. It's really just been more a lens of going back and watching things that, like, in high school I really, really liked, high school and college, and kind of seeing how they land now. So, which some have landed really well. Some I've definitely kind of been able to more look at and go with more nuance and recognize strengths and weaknesses. So
Yeah.
it's been an interesting journey there. So, but yeah, that was my break. So, you know, I still can't. I keep having to call, like, it's like, pinch me. I can't believe we're here.
Yeah.
My friends
My-
have been like, we'll check in and be like, how's the podcast going? What are you talking on? I actually do have to let you two know, as I did get some watch suggestions, and a topic suggestion from a friend of mine was like, hey, I
Mhm.
think if you ever get a chance to cover it this season, you should cover this. And I'm like, well, what movies do you want me to watch for it? So
Excellent.
I love it. I love it.
Excellent. So, reflecting on season 1, eh?
Hey,
Oh,
and I didn't get to say
season.
what happened during my break.
Oh, I'm
Oh, you
sorry.
did.
Yeah,
You did.
I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
No.
sorry.
Liz went on an eternity, and it made me think that we both went, and then she was
You think I
finishing it
talk
up.
a lot.
Dave.
You do, but I'm not saying that in a negative way.
I was gonna say, I was going, Dave went on longer,
Positive.
so I went on longer.
Oh,
No,
wow.
no.
Well,
I full-heartedly apologize to both of you. That sucks. I'm sorry.
this is like Dave coming out here
Please.
with like the surprise left hook.
I was gonna say, you keep swinging, Dave.
Please.
Anyhow, so
Please
like
go.
About
How'd
your
you spend your
holidays.
breaky?
well, without being depressing about the seemingly eternal present that my life has been kind of been for a while since the pandemic. Like, let's see, things that happened. Well, no, that's too depressing to mention. I finally actually finished. So this didn't happen during the break. I actually qualified for affiliate over on Twitch. Like
Nice.
sometime around October or November, I think it was. But it's like I just kept like when you get to affiliate, that's when you have to like you can monetize your channel, and so you gotta fill out all of the paperwork and shit. And it's like I was like, man, I don't got many people watching. I'm not gonna bother with that right now. And so like finally like this past week is when I finally got that done. So hey, if you ever come by the channel when I'm streaming something, like right now I'm streaming Xenogears, or not Xenogears, Xenosaga. It's like if you watch long enough, or if you subscribe, you can, like, if you subscribe you can use them. If you watch long enough, you'll build up enough channel points that you can like unlock a random free one, or un, or unlock a specific one with a little bit more channel points. But you can spam my chat full of pixel tonicky that I made for a project that I never got around to, like sometime last year. Two variants of
Now
that.
you get to use them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know
I
if you
love
ever saw it, but I took that like my PingTuber avatar. The I don't remember even why exactly I made it. I named it like Yum because it's a picture of the PingTuber version of me, like smiling and kind of drooling with my eyes closed, and at the bottom of the image it's like a plate of chorizo burritos with
I mean,
with like birria sauce for dipping them. So it's like just this
Well,
absurd
that just
thing.
sounds good.
I mean, they are good. That's probably
yeah.
what I'm making tonight after the show. So
The
Nice.
traditional post-recording chorizo.
yes. with Birya. With Birya, that's the important thing too. It's like with Birya, yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm always
Late
seeing the signs of birria tacos around me.
and as far as media consumption, not too much changed. The new season of Trigun started, Trigun Stargaze, so watch that. Haven't watched the episode 2 from this weekend yet. At some point, hopefully. But I am enjoying that. And now Millie's in the cast.
I saw that. I actually have decided I'm holding off on watching the new season
Mhm.
until
Till it's all
more
there.
of it's out.
Mm.
Yeah, I like to be able to just
Binge.
smash through
Oh yeah.
something.
No,
Yeah.
I get
I
that
need a good
totally.
binge, and sometimes it's easier to just wait until more of it's out. So if it's anything like a previous season, though, it probably is only going to be like a 12 episode season.
I
I'm
think it is.
assuming.
I'm really curious how they're like the thing I love about Orange Studio Orange's version of Trigun. So most people watching this probably more familiar with the Trigun anime. Liz, I remember that was your entry point as well. You never
Yeah.
and
Oh
you
yeah.
never
It
read the
was like
original
one of the
manga.
first. I read one volume and
Mm-hmm.
didn't care for the style.
Mm.
So
So like yeah.
stylistically, it was just it wasn't hitting.
It's like for me, I've always really loved Naito's style. But so yeah, the original Trigun is one of those things where it's like it was a monthly published comic, and then midway through the serialization, that's when they licensed it for an anime adaptation. So original Trigun is one of those infamous anime where it's like we're adapting week by week a still running monthly comic. Oh crap, we don't there's not enough comic to adapt because of the obvious issues of we're doing like multiple chapters per week and now we're going to catch up. Original story time. So the
Yeah.
interesting thing to me about Stargaze is the original pitch for it was they were, if I remember correctly, the idea was like they were thinking they would more accurately adapt the comic, and so they had a meeting of like when you do these things, you have meetings with the authors and so on, and like they got in a room with Naito, and Naito's like I basically like I get the idea, but I think what you guys should do is take the concepts from Trigun and make your own version. And I really like it's not
Interesting.
like it's the kind of adaptation where instead of being like we're flying by the seat of our pants to make up a new story because there's not enough content and we're like kind of talking with the author to see where the idea is going to go to the end. Instead, it's more like, okay, we've got this roadmap from the original comic, but what if in our adaptation we basically like we treat this as legends and like, you know, let the way people have always treated legends and stories, like how many versions like even before you get to like the modern era of King Arthur are there out there? So like we've always been people, like humanity has always been people who take the same stories and retell them in various bits and bobs in different ways, and they all kind of form this gestalt of what it is. So like I like that idea of doing that with Trigun. What is this new way of telling the legend of Vash the Stampede?
Interesting. Yeah. That makes sense. Well, it's interesting to hear a story like it's that element
Mm-hmm.
of staying true to the narrative core of the story
Mm-hmm.
while building around it, which is how how these stories last is the
Mm-hmm.
core still is preserved throughout history,
Exactly.
but the bells and whistles around it, the content around it.
And
Interesting, yeah. I did have
mm-hmm.
to say I was very pleasantly surprised when I watched Stampede. I hadn't had an interest in watching it, and then in rewatching the original series, because that was the first of my rewatches, I found myself going, I am curious to see what the new one did because
Mm-hmm.
again, coming back 10 plus years later, I can recognize some faults in the original
Mm-hmm.
series in way they handled things and wondering, okay, the new one, does it handle some of these things better? Some
It's
of these
like
elements with more nuance, with more tact.
it's like one of the things I
So,
especially love is like there's a sense of grandiosity that Stampede and Stargaze lean into from the original manga that I feel kind of gets left by the wayside in the original show, which kind of like it's still sci-fi, but it's more down to earth. It's a little less fantastical in a way. So like not to pour like too much cold water on it, but like in a way it's a little bit of a muted version of Trigun compared to these other incarnations of it. There's a sense of wonder that Stampede and Stargaze captures from the original comic that I think is lacking in the original adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
I find that
I can see that. I can
fascinating.
see that.
And
Yes.
games wise,
Bash the Stampede episode.
Apparently.
but
It definitely helps that like Stargaze was kind of the big. I think my understanding is the big release of January.
oh
See,
yeah,
New Year, Stargaze is out. So, and I just happened to watch Stampede last month. So,
coincidences and fortuitousness. And
Magic.
gaming wise, big thing I've been playing lately aside from the stuff on the stream was the Expanse Telltale game, which is, oh my god, that is fucking amazing.
you'd mentioned that one. I'll have to look that up at some point. Especially liking The Expanse.
Oh
Yeah.
Because it's a fun series. Books are a lot. I still haven't finished the first book, but you know,
I
it's
need
long.
to start the
And
book some point. I'm still holding out hope that one day we get a movie for adapting the last three books, or movie series for adapting the last three books. I don't think they can do it all in one go.
one day. Whatevs. Oh man, though.
So season one, retrospective on
Season
season one.
one, we actually, gosh, when I think where we started with season one, like season one, in some ways, I feel like, and Dave, this is going back to our early production calls of there was definitely an element of season one having a bit of a roadmap already because so much of it built off conversations we had.
Yeah.
Especially like because I was new to horror, so there was all this like I was digesting things for the first time, and you were definitely one of the people where I'm like, I finally watched this, and it would become a discussion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I love that though.
hmm seeing where it brought us and how it evolved, like from like our surface topic, I say surface topics, even though we were deep diving, but seeing like how deep we were getting by the end of it, that was what was wild to me, was kind of how far down the rabbit hole we ended up
Yeah.
going.
I I've reflected a bit on it insofar as it's our first season, which means that there's a lot of things to be excited about. Especially because I am a massive fan of horror. I've always been.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but also like in a way I'm kind of sad about it because it's also our first season. And so there's a lot of like trial and error. There's a lot of like experimenting. There's a lot of like trying to feel it out, see what works, what doesn't, and just kind
Yeah.
of like improving a lot on the first season, right? So like there's good and bad to it. Um but I think that the good outshines the bad. I think there's a lot of things where clearly we could improve. Um But at the same time, I think that a lot of it was good because it's a topic that I think all three of us were very excited about, a genre that we were all excited about. And so, like, having that energy to drive forward is very important. And it should have been the first season. And so I'm glad it turned out that way.
It was a very natural place to start,
Mhm.
honestly. I feel like. Which, if
Yeah.
you told me that like 10 years ago, I'd have probably been like, the fuck you mean horror is the natural place to start? But honestly, I couldn't imagine us starting anywhere else.
Same.
I think with horror, I think all three of us have an innate curiosity that lent itself to diving deeper on
Mhm.
horror an understanding beyond the surface level why and how we connected to this medium.
Mhm.
A medium that for a lot of people out there who are like, I don't do scary things or I don't do horror, you don't go beyond that. I used to be one of those people. So, it's been definitely a look at embracing the curiosity.
Would you say that at some point that it used to be that you had a grudge against horror? You know,
Might have
honestly, the pipe
on
cleaner
the
ear.
nose.
I mean, honestly, the pipe cleaner ears really made that face. Like,
Yeah.
For those of you in listening land, my headset now has a pair of pipe cleaner ears because I'm cheap. So rather than buying ears for my headset, I made them with pipe cleaners.
I think they look great.
Thank you.
Um,
But now, so that listening land, the Voidwalkers,
yes.
understand.
yeah.
The ears with the flowers.
You know, I don't.
Flowers with the ears.
You know, I don't. I always assume they're just meant to kind of be generic, like kind of Rorschach test, kind of like what animal ears are these? But with your background and the general shape, my brain goes to, are they horse ears? And one, are they horse ears? And two, are we now going to get all the Uma Musume fans watching the show?
I never would say I got the impression when I did these ones with horse ears. My other ones on my other headset, I feel like that I made, they were the first ones I made. I feel look more like a fox a little bit. They're
Mm.
more pointed and long. These ones, I was definitely trying to go for something a little more like rounded,
Mhm.
but not like conventional cat shape. Like,
Mm.
so it's not, to be honest, I was thinking of Tanuki more when I was doing these ones. Like, not deliberately, but I was definitely
Tanuki
going for
Earth
something a
rules
little more
all.
like. How far are you like
All things shall
correcting
become
me with
Tanuki.
Tanuki? Yeah.
All things shall become Tanuki. All things shall become Tanuki. Oh crap, I just popped into your window. That would have been funnier if I did that on purpose.
Menacing Tanuki.
Happy accidents, as the legend Bob Ross would say.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I do have to say, I've still, as much as we finished season one, what I look forward to it as we learn more is the opportunities to revisit.
Mm.
Revisit topics. I mean, some of it's going to happen because some of the stuff, crosses over into our next topic, blood orgy.
Oh dear.
There is
Spoiler alert.
definitely some crossover. Yeah, thank you, Event Horizon, for giving us that wonderful gem. But also just the elements of opportunities in the future to come back to some of the things, like seeing how these things interconnect and weave together.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
excited for that. I'm very excited. So, on that though, we are here at season 2.
Yeah.
So, we've
Yeah.
hinted at it, folks, to our Voidwalkers, but I guess we should say outright,
If you
season
couldn't
2, we're going to be looking at.
if you couldn't tell by the new layout for the show
Or by the title.
or the title,
The
yes,
fact that we've just said it. And if you've listened to season 1 all completely, then you heard it in the very last episode.
Yeah. We're in
it's the
science
sci-fi.
fiction.
Science fiction.
Yep.
Oh, this is gonna be a
Do,
fun
do,
one.
do.
It's funny because go ahead.
How did
I
I go?
will admit this is a genre that I'm not too familiar with compared to like horror or even fantasy to a degree.
Mm-hmm. I get that. It's funny because for me, I think there's going to be a lot of like childhood reinvestigating for me because one of the things I've realized thinking about it is that science fiction was probably my initial connection to media and storytelling as a kid. Like those are really science fiction stories were some of the earliest I remember. And part of it's because growing up, I may have been born in the 80s, but I was not aware enough of life going on in the 80s. But my siblings are both much older, and we had cassette recordings. And my family, like my dad is a scientist. So I grew up around science geekery, and my family loved Star Trek and recorded the 25th anniversary special for Star Trek back in the 80s when that came out, and that was like season 3 or 4. That coincided with also like the season 3 or 4 finale, or like some big episode event in the Next Generation. But like some of my earliest memories as a kid, I remember my room was just diagonal to my parents' room, going to bed, but looking in and in the TV in their room, hearing the ding, ding, like the hearing and hearing Patrick Stewart's voice deliver the opening of Next Gen. And I would watch like, old recordings from like a marathon of the original series fan favorite episodes from back, like again, back when they did the 25th anniversary special. So
Oh man, with
it's
the
sort of funny looking back and realizing science fiction was my childhood.
so like
I mean, I wanted to be a paleontologist when I was 6.
half tempted to edit that clip back in.
Remind me, I have a story later for you on 6-year-old me and paleontologist and scaring grown ass adults.
Is that
Yeah.
I think you've told us that one on show
I'm
before.
I might have the I want to be a
Yep,
paleontologist, and the
yep,
woman's just looking at me
yep,
like, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
yep. I am 90% sure that was episode 0.
That
Yeah,
might
you've
have
you've
been.
told that one before.
I've
Absolutely.
probably told that one in many places.
Yeah.
It's quintessentially me. I mean, I was obsessed with dinosaurs.
That reminds me, Dave and I still have a stream idea for you involving Jurassic Park and all that fun stuff since we're in the science fiction season now.
God, this one.
Oh man. Gonna
Oh,
be
I know
so
this. Liz, it's
Oh
it's gonna
no.
be one of the greatest streams that you'll ever do.
What am I having to play?
We're not gonna spoil it for you till we get everything ready for that.
I will
Oh
say
no.
it is a Jurassic Park game,
I'm scared.
and it
It
is one
is.
you
Yes,
will
I'm
be able to
scared.
run.
Well, because Diva can now keep up.
Diva can now keep up,
Yeah.
but I mean, hypothetically, Diva could have kept up with this unless it was like a computer from 1998.
Yeah.
That's
I
where it's
mean,
intended.
Divabot was pretty old though. She was
Oh
struggling.
yeah, but
Oh man,
it's
though.
We'll
like
figure that
We're
out.
here.
on our
We're here
own,
with science
like
fiction though. This is gonna be
yeah,
great.
like Liz, you talking about your sci-fi experience, and Dave, you talking about yours. Like it's like I don't know how like last season for me was interesting because like when it came to horror, I'm more of a video game horror person than a movie horror person. It's like it's like listening to a lot of podcasts and people talking online and stuff about their experience with horror. One thing I've always picked up on is there seems to be an interesting dichotomy when it comes to video game horror and movie show horror. There are the and it's like people break down into broadly two camps. The people who can watch and love uh horror media that like in science fiction or that wow, I'm getting so tongue tied. That horror media and movies and television, and they can just get real into that, and when they play the games they just cannot engage, not because they don't like it, but because it is too overwhelming. And the other group for whom they can play horror video games, but they can't as readily take watching horror. And I fall into that latter camp. I think the way I've always interpreted it as I think it's because of the way we relate to agency. So for me at least, I can't speak to others in these two dichotomies, but for me, like the issue of having agency is a release of tension for me. It has me feeling in control, whereas the way I will empathize with fictional characters watching a horror movie, having that agency stripped away from me strips that control away from me, and I begin to have more anxiety just from the watching of the thing than I think others may. And I
Mm.
think that kind of goes the other way, that like it I know I said before, like I can't begin to fully get, but I guess if I had to guess, it's like, not having that agency plus the remove, you feel more safe than you do being put into the virtual situation of the horror. But on the other hand, with sci-fi, I never had that problem, so I consumed a hell of a lot of sci-fi across multiple different kinds of media. Books, television, movies, video games, pretty much almost everything I was interested in from childhood to today is pretty much sci-fi when you get down to it. Like, there's some fantasy in there, but like the overwhelming majority is, oh my god, I am a sci-fi nerd. So this is going to be this is going to be the e-talkie season.
You definitely, yeah. I feel like that was some of it was me, like too, of like science fiction was just something that also because my family just didn't. Horror was not our thing.
Mm.
Like my parents also, because
Mm-hmm.
my parents were very like, you know what, how old, you know, and my parents were careful. And I know I covered this way back at the beginning of the horror season because it was part of why I'm a late bloomer with horror, is that my parents
Mm-hmm.
were careful by the time we're being very careful by the time they got to me of what they allowed us to watch at a certain age
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't want to risk us being exposed to something that we were too young to
Yep.
process and conceptualize and would just create trauma, you know, because like my sister when she was a baby was scared by the Lou Ferrigno Hulk, and so my parents were very much like, I didn't watch Jurassic Park till I was 12, and that was, and my parents had said you're not allowed to watch it until you're older, so you know it was just kind of an accepted course, you know, that, which is funny because Jurassic Park for me sinks more as science fiction, but
Mm-hmm.
because it was also a movie that could be scary,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it was a little bit of that, but it meant though that a lot of my exposure, I think a lot of times was through science fiction
Oh
and
man.
digesting it because those were the stories that I did engage with. I mean, I laugh because years later my dad and I were talking and I was a huge fan of the Animorphs series
Hell yes,
as a kid.
Animorphs.
Hilariously talking to my dad, he's like he was telling me, he's like, your writing style started to reflect the books. That was like how into it apparently I was, that my dad was like, you were writing in the same style. I could see it in the way you wrote and like
Mm-hmm.
your papers and everything. And I was sitting there going, what? But yeah, it became definitely science fiction became my mode of just everything. I won't say I was as expansive, I think, as you were, Ian,
Mm-hmm.
exploring all over. I had a few areas where I
Mm-hmm.
stayed and I was very happy in. Um, you know, I had my pockets of science fiction.
Oh,
So,
I definitely had my pockets, especially as I got older. Especially these days, so much of it is like I have happily settled into the real robot mecha niche as time has gone on. Like your Gundams, your Macross, your Votoms, your Fang of the Sun Dugrams, all that sort of
mhm,
fun stuff where you've got the mixture of the sci-fi and the political and the social commentary and this and that.
mhm. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
and the
oh,
cyberpunk and the cyberpunk.
love it. I'm excited
Nice.
for this, honestly. I do have to ask of like either of you have anything you're looking forward to particularly in this season, a topic or exploration, because I feel like there is so much here.
Well,
Oh.
I'm I'm gonna go ahead and spoil a little bit something. Uh, I'm excited to talk Dungeon Crawler Carl with y'all. I forget what episode we're planning to have that be part of, but like
Hmm.
I am a massive Matt Dinneman fan. I've been reading all his series of Carl, and I've got his newest non-Carl book pre-ordered, so it should be coming here sometime in February. Um, and
Oh,
I
that.
also want to check out his other
Mhm.
works. But he is a fun writer. I will say he's not a perfect writer, especially like his early Carl stuff. You can see like some of the grammar issues within some of the stuff where he like repeats himself a couple times here and there with sentences and such, which I don't know his history, but I
Hmm.
feel like Carl started like as an online kind of self-published sort of thing, a little bit like author Chuck Tingle, how he
Mhm.
started, where he was self-publishing stuff, and then he got popular and got picked up by a big company, and now he's making like massive books, right?
Yeah.
I think similar things happened to Carl or to Dinneman, but don't quote me on that.
For sure.
But I am a massive Dinneman fan, even despite those little flaws, which I will say proves that you don't necessarily have to write the best to be popular and to write a really engaging story with engaging characters, because
Yeah.
that's kind of the way that it goes in that series. Is like, to me, the characters are very engaging and the story is very engaging, and that's what
Yeah.
kind of draws me to that. The other thing I'm looking forward to is, I'm not a sci-fi person like y'all are. I have very little experience with sci-fi compared to like fantasy and horror and stuff like that. So I have very little exposure to those things. So, and it's not like I don't like it. I enjoy sci-fi. Um, so it's going to be kind of like how you were with horror, Liz, but for
Yeah.
me with sci-fi.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna say
I'm
it's just not something you've naturally gravitated towards, but it doesn't. It's not a. It's because that was for me for a long time. Horror, I just didn't naturally gravitate towards it.
yeah,
So
but
I'm
yeah,
excited
I'm
to hear you exploring this for the first time. As
yeah,
with me for horror, that being more of a new territory for me. So
yeah,
I'm excited for you. So I love it. I love it. Especially, I'm excited for you because where E and I both come with certain things, like, for example, Star Trek and other things come with a lot of nostalgia from being children in these things. I'm curious to see what resonates with you in some of these pieces that maybe have been with us for so long that they've become sort of innate parts of us, or
Mhm.
the resonance has become very deep. And I'm curious to see what resonates with you with some of these stories coming at it as an adult. Again, kind of the same way for me, I was coming at horror, like the old 80s horror and all these old school horror films, coming at it from a perspective of not seeing them until I was in like my 20s or 30s,
Yeah,
and not having the experience of being like a kid seeing these. So I'm very excited for that for you.
yeah, absolutely.
So
Dave,
I'm
how much?
ready for
Y'all,
some rage responses at some of these stories too. Did they do
yeah,
this?
Dave, how much Gibson have you read, if any?
none.
Okay, I guess that's one thing I'm looking forward to is pulling him at least knee deep into some Gibson.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually, jumping back to our earlier, Dave, I would be very curious to hear your perspective on like the Trigun,
Mhm.
both the old anime and the new one. But from a take of going back and watching that, for me was very like, when I've realized as an adult that something very deeply resonated with me with that show, and going back and rewatching it, I've again seen it, but also been able to look at it with a little more nuance. And I'd be curious though the perspective of somebody experiencing it for the first time.
And
So,
that's really funny because there was a period of time when I was a kid where I had the opportunity, and I recognize this as like a pivotal moment in my life. Um, I had the moment to be real deep in anime, like
hmm
really, really deep.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that stopped that was actually my parents.
Oh.
Um, so back in my day, we had the mall, and
Mm-hmm.
in that mall was a store called Suncoast. Are y'all
Ah,
familiar with
ah,
yes,
I'm
Suncoast?
familiar
Suncoast.
with Suncoast.
Yes.
Okay. So Suncoast had an entire little section
Yep.
of anime VHS tapes. And I was like, ooh, I would love to pick those up. And so like I was able to get like one or two, whatever. I think I got like a grand total of like three or four. Four. I remember distinctly.
And
There
you're
was
it,
Macross
mhm.
Plus Part One.
Oh hell
There
yeah.
was Ninja Scroll.
Oh boy, I see where this is
There
going.
was there was Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, jeez.
And
How
what
old
was
were
the
you?
last one? I was in the 90s. I was between like 8 and I want to say like 15 during that period of time that I was like able to do those kinds of things.
Yeah.
I forget what the fourth video was. but picked up a few VHS tapes and started watching them. And like, my parents weren't too into it, not because they saw like the content and were like, oh my God. It was more like they saw anime as like silly cartoons
Yeah.
and just kind of like discouraged it. Um, so I
Which
never really got the chance to dive into like heavy stuff like
which is wild to
Danganronpa
me
or something like that.
it's wild to me with I'm with Ghost like I can see with some of the others, but like Ghost in the Shell, there's like that's Mamoru Oshii at like one of his most philosophical moments is fascinating to me.
I
Mm,
still saved the original Ghost in the Shell tape,
Mm.
VHS
yeah.
tape. So it's got the green and not that bullshit golden whatever the fuck they did to the
Yeah, yeah,
DVD
that
version.
I
Yeah.
think they've done
Oh,
another version now that goes back to the original tinting, which is fascinating because if memory serves, like the reason that the Matrix has that color scheme it does
mhm.
or the color grading it uses, I think that is the Wachowski sisters doing an homage to Oshi's Ghost in the Shell.
I could see
They
that.
were drawing a lot of inspiration off of, I think, Ghost in the Shell and anything in
Mhm.
that vein. I mean, too, and very much also just using color tinting as a way to indicate
Yeah.
storytelling.
Yeah.
And
So,
speaking of that, by the way, this year, Science Saru, the oh, I cannot remember that animator's name now. Really uh big, really impressive animator whose name I'm forgetting now. The studio that he founded this year is supposed to be the new Ghost in the Shell series that Science Saru is doing.
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Huh.
And
But yeah,
interestingly enough, the
wild.
things they've indicated, like the designs they're using, the promotion material and such, indicate that it may be more of a straight up adaptation of Masamune Shirow's original manga too, which will be
Hmm.
interesting because like a lot of times Ghost in the Shell when it's been adapted by um Mamoru Oshii and when it's been adapted by I forget the name of the director who did Standalone Complex. Oh, hella Miles. Uh like take like a very serious version of Ghost in the Shell, more heavily philosophical. Standalone Complex does have more humorous moments in it. I think partially because being two 26 episode long TV seasons, 26 each, that they're able to kind of have that space for more moments of levity. But if you actually
Yeah.
look at the original comic, that can be totally fucking goofball at times. And I am interested to see whether or not Science Saru actually retains any of that goofball quality. Like like the Major is a very different like there's a side of the Major that most of the other manga or most of the other adaptations out there never really explore, which is like kind of like what is the word I want? Like take no shit, but also like a little bit of a fuck off in a way,
Take no shit, give zero fucks.
and very kind of like the Major in the other adaptations is very much like a very self-serious, very focused sort of state. The Major in the original comic, while she does have that quality as well at times, there's a bit more of a goblin mode to her as well, where it's like it's an archetype of like there's a little bit more punk attitude to her in a way. And I'll be interested to see if that carries forward in Saru's version of it.
Interesting.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Oh, well, this will be crazy. Yeah. On that, I think this is going to end up being the season where we do a little more anime exploration, which should be interesting just because
Yeah.
I've not been in it for a few years. So
And
even coming back to it, I'm like coming back very carefully, but I'm also not really interested in as much interested in a lot of the new stuff as I am in kind
mm,
of reassessing where I was. But it's definitely it lends itself to science fiction so much so that it's whew,
Mhm.
We're gonna have a loaded season. There is so
Oh,
much media out there.
And speaking of, should we mention one of the
So.
things that you pitched to us for this year, Liz? Or should we hold off on that, do you think?
Oh, I mean, I'm looking forward to eventually doing that. So, I mean, Alex, but you're talking about my little like bite size.
Yep. You want to take the
Yeah.
lead on that one?
Yes, I am. I am. I'm excited for that one. Also, just because I feel like I was proud of that one bit because it felt like there is so much science fiction out there that's gargantuan. I mean, look at Star Trek alone spans
Mhm.
how many shows? There's so much out there that it's kind of almost overwhelming. And also when you go back to old TV formats where they were doing 26 episode seasons, that's a lot and they're all like 50 to minutes to an hour a piece. That's
Mhm.
a lot of watching. So like it kind of came out of
I
how
really
do we
miss that
find
mode of
something that
television.
helps. It's definitely a lost been a bit of a dying art, but it's how do we address this with science fiction so that we all can like all three of us can engage
Mhm.
but not be overwhelmed by it
Yeah.
because for me it's overwhelming even. And so what we're doing, I'm looking forward to us doing this year is occasionally having our bite-sized reaction episodes, which viewers, the
Mhm.
idea of Voidwalkers, the idea is going to be that we'll rotate who gets to be the person who picks. So
Mhm.
Dave, and I. And what the idea is, this is specifically for shows. I think I said it was specifically more for like shows and series. Is we take a series and then either it's the first 10 episodes or it's picking maybe 10 episodes from it, maybe 5 depending. We're still kind of hammering out some details, but the initial thought I had was 10 episodes and from a series like say Star Trek and pick 10 pivotal episodes from it. Everybody is assigned to watch those episodes over the course of like a month.
Mhm.
So there's plenty of time. And then be able to come in and have a reaction episode, probably like a Twitch stream or
Mhm.
something, or we'll do a little mini episode where we can react to it. But
Mhm.
the idea being, folks, that if it's something that say that E or I haven't seen, or that Dave hasn't seen, that it's a bite-sized taste of it. If we're picking and
I'm
choosing
pulling up
10
my Plex
episodes from
right
it, and
now.
I recommend 10 episodes that maybe have here's some of the best, here's one that's if it's to be able to have a bit more of a level playing field of how we discuss the show, and also of course from whoever picks the show why they enjoyed it, why they picked it, what was important, or why they picked those episodes in particular, and then being able to react to that and get a bit of a taste of some of these gargantuan series without the overwhelming commitment of sit through all of it. It's like there are some shows that are very, very like that I love, but you might have to sift through a lot of shit depending on them because they came from a different era of writing. um I mean, I'm gonna throw out another example there. Battlestar Galactica, the '04 series, has some really, really, really stellar writing moments, but man, because they were flying by the seat of their pants when they wrote that, there are hunks of episodes in seasons where you just feel like, wow, the writers didn't know what they were going to be doing next, so they're just trying to buy time. It feels like it. And I'm like, I would not wish that on you. I skip those episodes in rewatches because it's just like, nope, nope, nope. you know.
Yeah.
So, a way to experience shows without the overwhelming commitment to watching all of it.
Mhm.
So, that is the idea and I'm very much looking forward to us doing bite size or having bite size even if it's just something that we incorporate into one of our future topics of conversation, but being able to kind of have digestible forms.
Yeah.
And that way,
Yeah.
you folks out there, if it's a series you've never digested and you're curious, maybe, we can tell you here's what we watched and why, and you can go and watch it for yourself and decide, is it worth it to me to go back and watch all of it, or is this all I needed? This gives me enough. So,
Interestingly
it's
enough,
been like a taste test.
I'm looking at my Plex right now, and there's some things I can recommend where you can see the whole thing within that bite-sized period.
Yes, yes. Well, the idea is mainly for it to be
Oh
for
yeah,
anything that's over that.
yes.
But yeah, yeah. But definitely, if we've got some shows that may actually fit within that, and then it'll be just like, hey, here's this. But the idea being something reasonable, a whole month to watch it, so there's plenty of time to go pull the date, find the episodes, watch them, nobody's overwhelmed. I mean, if you say watch 10 episodes of this show in a month, then even if it's a 1 hour episode each, that's like what, 2 episodes a week, and then
Something
maybe
like that.
like 3 in a week. Yeah, you could do basically like 5 weeks is 2 episodes a week is over 5 weeks. So you just have to have like 2 weeks in there where you watched 3 episodes. But even that of, oh, watch this one this night, this one this night, this one this night. So
Yeah, very easy.
yeah, I'm excited for that.
Me too.
So
It's gonna be hard for me because I don't have too many shows under my belt to be able to go that.
we'll
But we'll
find.
see. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure that out. The
Yeah.
idea being that we find ways to make this work within the realms, because the thing that was overwhelming at first as we planned season 2 was just that who's got the time to digest all of the media out there for some of these things?
Yeah.
I mean,
I will say that most of the stuff that I thought of or found is like book
yeah,
related.
yeah. I haven't thought of a way. I have to admit, I want to try to think of a way to like do bite size that works for books, but that's a little more
That's hard.
complicated. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I know
I
for
will think on that.
Dungeon Crawler Carl, the easiest thing in my opinion is just the first book for y'all.
Yeah.
Which,
I-
funny enough, I found out through my fiance. There's a dramatization version of the first book that's out there, full cast. So you
Oh,
could listen to it.
oh,
Um, and
that
I
up.
think they're gearing up to start putting book 2 out.
See if my library has that available, because if they do, you know,
I don't know if
again,
it's like official in that way. I think it's like just a group of people and like they're putting it out there. But apparently, like, I guess nobody has a problem with it. So
I mean, if no one's complaining,
yeah, I can
well,
certainly let you know what it's called,
for
but
sure,
I'll
yeah.
have to like ask.
Be exciting though. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely with books it's harder, and that was where I was like, "Oh, I'll think on that one later."
Yeah. I certainly have different voices than what they use in my head for the characters,
That's
but
always the challenge. And actually it's why like some of the audio, like some of the full cast recordings for some of these books, if it's a book that I've already listened to, I don't always go then listen to the full cast recording, because if I've listened to it before or listened to it several times in just the one reader, my brain is like, no, but I'm listening for that voice's portrayal of it, because that's kind of helped dictate what the voice sounds like to me. Not always. So that's where it's been kind of funny listening to this full cast of Dresden. But because it's also been many years since I initially listened to it, and it works.
uh,
So
so uh my wonderful and lovely fiance has just texted me, and she says Sound Booth Theater is the company. It's considered an immersion tunnel recording, which, if you're familiar with the series, you know what tunnel means. So Sound Booth Theater.
I'm writing that down now. This is
It's
how
like
we
it's like she and I have ESPN.
She knows what you're
Yeah,
thinking of. We love it. We love it.
yeah.
So,
So
oh my gosh. So then,
yeah.
Do you have anything in particular that you're looking forward to in this season?
I'm definitely looking forward to getting to talk a little about cyberpunk stuff and getting into the more political side and even the political history of the genre. Because I don't think that's something. I mean, it gets talked about, but it doesn't get talked enough about in the mainstream, really. And
Yeah, I've not
also,
really heard it talked about mainstream.
and like I'm really interested. There's an episode subject that we've got in here that I think will be really ripe for that, where we talk about. Sorry, I'm just a bit out of breath and I haven't used my inhaler yet. So, where we talk about like, for lack of a better term, retro futures and what the retro futures said about the thoughts of the then contemporaries writing about them, and what they say about the way those of us in the present latch on to those retro futures, and kind of what they say to us about our aspirations and whatnot. Folks, if you want to study ahead for that one, not that I'm saying you have to study for this show, like, but if you ever get a chance, the Gernsback Continuum by William Gibson, the short story, you can find it in Burning Chrome, the collection, if you want an idea of what I'm getting at there. Also looking forward to, like, obviously, like, we may touch on the bullshit of Gen AI in this episode, but not this episode, but the one I'm about to mention. When we talk about like the role of AI in so many science fiction stories, and like what that represents metaphorically, past, present, and future, and about what it says about humanity, the way we view ourselves, the way we view that which we create, and all the little intricacies of that I'm really looking forward to. And this may be the year I finally sit my ass down and watch Lane, going back to the anime stuff. So, I don't think any of us here have either of you heard of Serial Experiments Lane by chance? It's like the quintessential like turn of the century cyberpunk anime.
Nope.
I may have heard of it at some point, but not
Oh
enough
man,
to have
I'm
engaged.
I'm gonna
I feel like the name is mildly familiar,
I'm gonna drop something
but
in
it
the
was probably
Discord
something
chat
I
then.
saw or like read in passing. So, oh man, this is gonna be a wild season. I think there's gonna be a lot of, even with E and I coming from, to your comment, Dave, earlier of like this being more an area that you haven't gravitated towards as much. Even with E and I being entrenched in it, I think there's going to be a lot more of new ground exploration happening in this one
Hmm.
because it is such an expansive genre, and because there is just so much of it. I mean, there are pockets of sci-fi that interest people that they never touch on other areas.
Hmm.
Like you can be totally into, you know, this thing over here and never step foot in this other sci-fi area. And I
Like
feel like
so many debates over
there,
the years of hard versus soft sci-fi.
yeah. But it just, in that regard, I think there's going to be an element for all of us of curiosity and exploring. And also because I think because there's so much of an element to looking at sci-fi through different lenses of how old we were and what was happening in the world when we digested, and kind of what our understanding of the world is, because there's so much in sci-fi that is kind of layered looking at that even for me it feels like coming back for the first time on some of these things, because it's like I know how this was to me as a kid, or versus how it is to me now. So
Yeah.
the core of science, I would say, is curiosity, and I think curiosity will be key this season.
Yeah. I think so.
I'm so excited. Folks, this is going to be a really wild, wild season.
Yeah.
I am also
Oh,
going to say I'm looking forward to more Twitch shenanigans, because the shenanigans are still going to be, the watch this while this. So we may not be talking horror in the in-season episodes, but I'm pretty sure it's still going to
Oh
come up. I mean, Requiem does come out next month, so
yeah.
yeah.
the horror genre. Not to mention that Resident Evil might pop up occasionally because of its science
It's
fiction
sci-fi.
connections, but
It's
that's a different thing. Yes.
sci-fi horror, peanut butter and chocolate.
But
So-
I am looking forward to us still having. I mean, we still have to watch you. You two still have to watch Biozombie.
Yeah, at some point.
That has to happen.
Yeah.
That's
It's locked and loaded for when. It's locked and loaded for when that happens.
I stand by my fair warning that if it, and I need to rewatch it too, but that the 2 times I watched it, the first 45 minutes, you're pretty much pissed off for 45 minutes because you're like, this sucks so hard. This movie is making me mad. It's so bad. And then it flips and you're just going, what the fuck? Like,
Okay,
that was the
if I
reaction everybody I've ever watched it with has had, including myself.
Okay, if I can press you on this, now when you say those first 45 minutes are bad, I think you've told us this before, but it has left my memory. Is it bad because Jack Squad is happening, or is it bad in like we got problematics going on?
I don't remember anything being highly problematic. It's just that the two main characters are kind of like self-appointed gangsters. Like the I'm a gangster kind of like attitude, and they're just dumb. Like, I think,
Oh.
to quote my old roommate, if I'm not if I'm I even I think my classmate, when we watched it, we were just sort of going, this is dumb. I don't like these characters. They're dumb. I
This
don't
is where it's
remember
going to be
anything
hilarious because like
overtly.
this is,
Yeah, I don't remember anything. I'm sure there's probably some. I wouldn't be surprised to find some level of they're kind of assholes.
Mhm.
But again, it's because the two main characters are the sort of self-proclaimed gangsters, or at
Mm.
least the wannabes. So you get some of the natural, like, really, no, honey, that's stupid. Don't treat people like that.
Mm.
But it's more that it's just dumb. And it's slow. And I was legit like, my old classmate and I were ready to turn off the computer, and then the switch flipped, and we both just sort of gaped and went, what? And then we
Okay.
just started laughing. I mean, again, it has been over 10 years, so I'm curious to see how it lands with me now. I will just say that that was my roommates or my old classmates and I experience of it. And so then I made my roommates watch it, and we watched it with friends, and that was all of their responses too.
It can't be
Just
worse than
45
The
minutes of
Room.
what the fuck, followed by oh lol.
It can't be worse than Doom.
Oh, we'll find out, won't we? So, is there?
And we'll
anything else
record
that we
these
need to
episodes
say?
over Discord and not Zoom. I've apparently gone all Seuss on you.
Oh man, I don't think there's too much more. I'm really just excited for this, and I'm excited to see where this ends up in our evolution, because I think we're taking what we've learned from last season and evolving it, but we're still also learning because it's a different genre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so there's the idiosyncrasies of the genre that are going to also impact the way we approach episodes. And I think audiences are going to see that of we're not going to have as much of episodes devoted to singular franchises anymore, or singular pieces of media.
Mm-hmm.
The way we did the previous season, I think, because there is so much here, and because there's an element of seeing how different groups approach these stories
Mm-hmm.
and these themes.
And plus, we do have the bite
So,
sizes now too, so
ex-
Yeah.
we can
exactly.
funnel that energy into that. Yeah,
Exactly. So yeah, I'm very curious to see how that impacts, also, and to see what evolves unexpectedly. I mean, viewers, we were mapping out
Mhm.
episodes, last season for horror, but then there still were sort of curveballs where we went, let's make an episode of this. That is how we had the X trilogy
Mhm.
episodes. They
Yeah.
were never in the original plan,
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
but became something that it was like, we want to talk about this. So I'm curious to
That
see.
is still
I'm sure
is still
there's going to
really
be at
good.
least one episode that was never in the original plan, and I'm curious to see what that ends up being.
Yeah.
The Confabulator sits down and watches all 100 some odd episodes of The Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Will not be appearing during this season.
Oh well, folks.
Yeah,
If
what
you're
happens when
watching
you?
this now, though, just know that you're gonna get weird. This is, of course, we wanted to welcome you all back to season 2. Next week, we will be dropping episode 1.
Mhm.
So, of course, I'm saying this and we're recording this like 5 weeks in advance, but
Yeah.
hey, we have a bit of a schedule, y'all.
Yeah.
We have a
Yeah.
bit of a schedule.
Well,
So you're
Speak-
watching.
Speaking of that schedule, one thing
Yes.
that occurred to me that I think we'll also do, not like this isn't suddenly slamming something else into the schedule. This is just this is something for y'all out in the audience. By the time you see this, I'm gonna call for them. I'm just gonna say, send us emails. Send us your thoughts.
Yeah.
Even if they're thoughts about
Yes.
last season, but especially like if you've got thoughts on science fiction, we will read them on the show as long as they're not, as long as they're fit to print, as the saying goes.
Don't be a dick, and we may actually read it. So we would love to talk.
And
also,
so,
folks, we're on Blue Sky. You can
yes,
engage with us there.
you can engage
Love
with us
chatting.
there. You
You
can send
mentioned
us
the
emails to
videos.
our Gmail account that is full more of the alerts to the various things we've had to subscribe to for the show than it is.
It's like all Twitch alerts now.
Basically, yes.
send us, look, quick and dirty. If you have a question, comment, or you want to bring something up or have us read something in particular, send it to theconfabulators@gmail.com. We are more than happy to read your emails and respond, especially through our podcast, stuff like that. We want those, send them to us. We love hearing from people.
Yeah. You can also follow us on Twitch and engage with us more directly there if we're on a live stream. We do not have a regular live stream schedule, but when we do go on, we do invite anybody who's watching to jump in the chat and talk with us. So that's an opportunity to have a little bit more direct conversation.
And I believe that is twitch.tv/confabulation station.
Twitch.tv/confabulation
station.
Yes, I believe so.
Confabulation station.
The Confabulation Station.
If you
Twitch.tv.
Confabulation Station, it should bring us up, y'all.
Yeah.
You
can also see the
yes, it is the
window over there.
Yes. Yeah. We'll have it all up on the card for y'all to see. And in the meantime, folks,
where can they find you?
Yes.
All right, y'all can find me over at my now affiliated Twitch channel, Lanzalencia. That's twitch.tv/Lanzalencia, LANZALENTZIA. And you can find me over on YouTube under the same handle where, I got the VODs from the shows. Things aren't organized the best. I should finally start making some playlists that collect those VODs more readily. But also you can find my various nonsense and bullshit edits that I've made over the years. I've got a few Giant Bomb ones in there that are pretty fun. You ever want to see someone lament have someone talking about their lament of not getting to sit down at a Simpsons table read with, va- vaunted documentarian filmmaker Werner Herzog, that their hero, their cinema hero at that table read, but work got in the way because of the nature of covering E3 before the pandemic ended E3. You can watch that. You can watch that audio, edited over Lament of Innocence, the Castlevania game for PS2. That's pretty fun, by the way. I ramble a lot.
Hey, it's a podcast. We talk.
We do talk.
We're good at.
Speaking of, Liz, where can they find you?
Well, I am Lady Hyacinth 57 on Twitch. You can find me at twitch.tv Lady Hyacinth 57. That is Hyacinth as in the flower. And my name, I used Hyacinth as an online name long before Bridgerton was a thing. There you have.
I am so eager when we finally get to whatever season we can just cram Bridgerton into, because that will just be like the culmination of by that point a half decade long in joke.
Yes.
We finally make Liz watch. Well, actually, no. I assume you've probably already watched it. Liz now has to watch Bridgerton again for content.
Watched it already, so I mean, I was a fan of certain Jane Austen adaptations. Not crazy on all of them, but
yes, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. That the classic.
Yeah, okay, and I've read the book. That was kind of they took some liberties from the original book that I did not think were good narrative decisions.
They took some liberties in the Jane Austen book where they added zombies to it.
I mean, and it wasn't the zombies that were liberties; it was characters that were out of the original that that's its
Zombies
own
were
rant.
already there and they were preserved.
Exactly. Anyways, Lady Hyacinth 57. Also, you can find me under that handle on YouTube. I have been importing stuff over to there, but I have not made anything public yet. But I will be. Hopefully, I'm working on setting up cross streaming or so that I can actually be on there and on Twitch simultaneously because OBS now has that functionality.
Yep.
So I just have to work on the setup system with it, and
I gotta set that up for
new
the
PC.
Confabulators too.
Yeah, with the new PC also is the new and better looking channel. So I feel like my production value on my channel has shot up because now I have things like intro screens and overlays and things. I do a lot of Resident Evil and horror gaming though, folks. And now that I have a computer that can keep up, I'm going to be playing catch up on several games from the last few years that came out that DivaBot just went no.
Speaking of sci-fi this season,
goes yes. So
may I say one of the ones that you've mentioned to us before that you're looking forward to this year?
which one?
Death Stranding.
Oh yes, yeah, that is on there. Yeah, literally, I've owned some of these games and they just crash. They would crash on DivaBot, but Diva 2.0, she's like, I got you, babe.
Are you ready to drink large quantities of Monster Energy drink?
Norman's Delivery Service, the new Studio Ghibli animated film, in tandem with
They're doing 2 Death Stranding anime, by the way. 2 of them.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, either way, I'm
Get into
excited.
this.
Diva 2.0 has opened whole new windows and worlds for me of what I can play and what I can go back to playing because I miss playing Dead by Daylight. So
I'm just really
finally play it again.
I'm just really happy
No.
because I'm watching your feed right now and it's not descending into a decent chaos.
Right?
Yeah.
So expect better production value even here, y'all, because now I have a computer that can handle it.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Dave, where can our wonderful Voidwalkers find you?
That's pretty easy. You can find me at twitch.tv/sheriff_Flynn. I know it's been pretty quiet there. Life has been real busy. I'm getting married. I'm having to deal with multiple classes and all this other stuff. I'm moving around, I'm getting moved in. So it's been very quiet there, but I'm going to eventually get back to it because BJ Blazkowicz has got to keep killing Nazis. Can't stop that.
And you heard the announcement, right, Dave?
Yeah, Wolfenstein 3 is coming.
Yep.
And BJ's going to be back. I can't wait.
More Nazi blasting, folks.
That's right. And then of course YouTube, Sheriff Flynn on YouTube. I don't really post as much there, but I'm planning once I get back to Twitch, I'm going to be uploading VODs over to YouTube, so it should be pretty simple, pretty cut and dry. Yeah, that's me.
We would like you to follow and subscribe to all of us, folks, because we are all now affiliates on Twitch. Yeah. So, woo! So, but then again, folks, we do encourage you to also follow and talk to us on the Confabulation on any of our access points, communication access points. We love to engage with fans. Love to talk. We love recommendations. I love it when friends of mine are like, hey, Liz, this might be something for you to talk about on the podcast. I love having those conversations. So,
just don't recommend us Terrifier 4 in space.
No.
Honestly,
Automatic
if
block.
its title is Terrifier, don't recommend it, period. The answer is already no.
My favorite Terrifier media is the short video where the guy's house is getting invaded by all the horror movie monsters and all the slasher villains, and he just panically takes them all out in the most comical slapstick fashion possible. I'm pretty sure he stuffed What the Fuck the Clown into a trash bag and then like slams him to and fro like a fucking 1940s Looney Tunes cartoon bit.
I also love it you named him What the Fuck the Clown.
Oh right, it's art.
P.S.
What the
by
fuck?
the way, new Scary Movie I think this year.
Yes, Scary Movie 6 is coming out. As is Spaceballs 2.
Yes, yeah, they've wrapped filming on that.
Are they still calling it The Quest for More Money? because I feel like they
I don't
need
think
to.
I don't know if I don't think they've officially released what the title will actually be. So it is leaving all Spaceballs fan groups to speculate, which by the way, Spaceballs fan groups, when it's not somebody dumping AI slop, have some hilarious humor because it usually amounts to, "Hey, look, assholes!"
Yeah.
Their humor
So,
around assholes and "we ain't found shit." Sorry,
yep.
Tim Rust, you will forever be known for that, even though you also played Tuvok for
I was
however many
just
years of
about to
your
ask
life.
because I could not remember who it was, which actor it was that went on to do more things. I was like, wait, who was the actor who's literally combing a desert with a giant comb?
Tim Russ.
I love
Tim
it. I
Russ.
love it.
All right.
Tuvok the Vulcan, and yet what does
Yep.
everybody know him for? We ain't found shit.
By the way, speaking of
Yep.
favorite actors, we may see another fan favorite of ours from the horror season pop up this year. Speaking of Tim Russ, that's right, folks. Because at least two series that are on the agenda for that we need to cover for content have fan favorite Brad Dourif in them.
Oh yeah. They're going, the fuck are we talking about?
Mhm.
Just for a moment.
I am I am definitely getting y'all to watch the Garden of Gethsemane episode of Babylon 5. That is my favorite Brad Dourif role.
I have to rewatch that show.
It's so
I
good.
don't remember much of any of it
His
after all these
performance
years.
in that,
Anyways,
there's
that
so much
aside
Yeah.
aside.
Sorry, I'm rambling again.
Yep.
I'm
Welcome to the
excited.
Confabulators. If you don't know what the Confabulators means, ask your grandma.
Yep. Send it an email. That's sci-fi for old people.
All right.
There's going to be a problem with me for
Anytime,
that
folks,
one.
thank you so much for being here. We are so excited for season 2.
So
And
I've
we
got to
can't
wait.
wait to have you all join us for the insane journey that it's going to be. So until then, folks, I'm Liz.
I'm Dave.
I'm me.
And until next time, peace out.
Laters.
Dance break. Dance us off.
Tanuki dance, tanuki dance, tanuki dance as the
Wearing
fade
a
out
hippie club.
happens. Fading out into the season, fading out into the season, yeah, yeah.
The Confabulators is hosted by Liz Strauss and Dave Bockenkamp. Editor is E.W. Klein. Theme music, Oh Heavens, is by Cassidy B., composer and artist. Found at cbrva.cardd.co.